The cracked lines in this mug aren't just a sign of clumsiness on my part. It's like my whole marriage has been dropped, and these spiderwebs are all that's left. I stare at them, my fingers tracing the pattern. 3 years of being Mrs. Ethan Davis, and I'm already feeling like a faded picture in a dusty frame. Across the coffee shop, a couple's laughter rings out. God, I miss that. The way Ethan used to look at me, like I was the only girl in the world. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if he forgot what color my eyes are. My phone buzzes, and my heart does a stupid little leap, hoping. Nope, it's Thomas. Just Thomas. Thomas, from college. The cute but annoying one from my history class, forever cracking jokes and getting us in trouble. His text is a stupid meme, but it makes me smile anyway. It's been ages, and suddenly he's back in my head, a blast from a past when life felt, well, lighter. Amelia, focus up, my boss's voice snaps me back. Honestly, today of all days? I bite back a sigh. It's just a tiny mistake, the kind Ethan would have smoothed over for me before, a little smile and a reassuring word. Now there's just this awkward silence, and the pity in the boss's eyes is worse than a scolding. Driving home, I can't shake the feeling of being off kilter. That chatty moment with Thomas keeps popping up, a bright spot in the relentless grayness. He's back in town, apparently. Maybe that's just what I need. A blast of familiar fun to shake this funk I'm in. Ethan comes in late, smelling of takeout and stress. We eat in near silence. He talks about spreadsheets, I nod and zone out. It's like we're on autopilot, performing the steps of being married without the feeling. Later, I lie in bed, the darkness pressing down on me. It's not just boredom anymore, it's like a starved feeling inside me. A desperate little voice whispers, "Is this all there is?" And just like that, a flicker of rebellion sparks. It's probably the wine talking, maybe the stupid meme that's still making me smile, or perhaps just the exhaustion of this worn-out feeling. Tomorrow, I decide, I'll text Thomas back. Just one drink. What's the harm, right? A reminder that there's still a vibrant woman under the tired wife exterior. That there's still something out there besides cracked mugs and silent dinners. My heart's pounding like I've run a marathon, not just walked to the mirror. Come on, Amelia, it's been forever since you bothered with all this. But as I fuss with mascara and lipstick, there's this little thrill inside. If Ethan won't notice, maybe someone will. The client, the handsy one with the greasy smile, makes a comment about my dress. It's sleazy, like always, but this time, I don't flinch. Instead, I meet his gaze head on. There's a flicker of something in my eyes, a boldness that surprises even me. The old Amelia would have blushed and excused herself. This Amelia? Well, she holds her ground. Ethan's call is a splash of cold water on my defiant mood. Another problem at work, another thing he needs me to smooth over for him. Don't worry, honey, I'll take care of it, I say on autopilot, already feeling that little spark of excitement fade. Then, Thomas texts. Another meme, funnier than the last. My fingers fly across the keyboard, our jokes ping-ponging. Each laugh feels like popping a bubble wrap of tension I didn't know I was carrying. This is so dumb, yet so addictive. Before I can overthink it, I type, "Drinks tonight?" The whole day is a blur until I'm sitting across from Thomas. We laugh until our sides ache, talking like we haven't been apart for a decade. His gaze lingers on me, and there it is, that feeling of being seen. I've forgotten what it's like for a man to look at me like I'm something special, not just the woman who fixes everyone else's problems. Hours slip away, wine blurs the edges, and something reckless unfurls inside me. One more drink, I insist, even though it's long past the time I should be home. In the parking lot, Thomas leans close, his voice low. You haven't changed a bit, Amelia. I should pull back, should make some lame excuse, but I don't. Instead, I tilt my chin up slightly, defiant and a bit scared. His hand brushes my cheek, and the question hangs unspoken in the air between us. This is so wrong. This is everything sensible Amelia would lecture herself about. But sensible Amelia is long gone, and this Amelia craves just a taste of being reckless, being desired. It's a dangerous thrill, and part of me knows I'm playing with fire. But another part, the part starved for something exciting, something just for me, whispers, what's the harm in one kiss? The taste of toothpaste and regret mingles in my mouth as I spit into the sink. Did it really happen? Did I really kiss another man? My palm still tingles from where Thomas touched it. A thrill of panic courses through me, followed immediately by a defiant little voice saying, "It was just a kiss. No big deal." But the kiss is lingering like a bad hangover. I can't look at my wedding ring without picturing Thomas's hand on my cheek. At breakfast, Ethan catches me staring into space and smiles. "Big day at work, huh? You seem distracted." "Just tired," I mumble, avoiding his gaze. If he only knew. He actually seems more cheerful today, the worries of the last few days replaced by lightness. "You seem in a good mood," I comment, the question hanging in the air. "Someone complimented my tie," he laughs, the old, slightly dorky Ethan I've missed. A pang of guilt twists through me. Did I really fix things by doing this? The weight of the secret presses on me, heavier each time he smiles. My phone buzzes. It's Thomas, a playful text about something from last night. Lying becomes automatic. "Work emergency," I tell Ethan, slipping into the bathroom to answer. The ease of deception scares me a little. Each call with Thomas, each hastily made-up excuse feels like another brick in a wall I'm building around myself. Secret lunches become our new routine, book club meetings, I tell myself with a smirk. I pick outfits that make me feel daring, knowing Ethan won't notice, but Thomas will. The excitement is addictive, a carousel I can't get off. But as the lies pile on top of each other, a knot of terror grows inside me. One evening, as I leave book club, hair slightly messy, lipstick reapplied, Ethan casually asks, "Interesting book. What's it about?" His tone is playful, but my heart jolts. Had he followed me? Did he see? "Oh, it's a historical thing," I babble, the lie tasting bitter. "You wouldn't be interested." Later, staring into the mirror, I barely recognize myself. This stranger with her flushed cheeks and her guilty eyes. I'm playing a role, acting like everything's fine, while inside, I'm spiraling out of control. The fun has twisted into something far more dangerous, and I'm trapped in a game of my own making. I'm becoming a master of deception. Deleted text logs, a burner phone for Thomas. Ridiculous, I know, but the drama of it has a sick appeal. And clothes washed separately are the tools of my secret life. It's exhausting, the constant calculations of how to keep this twisted charade going. Oddly, Ethan seems blissfully oblivious, his change in mood baffling me. Flowers appear on the kitchen table, a candlelit dinner reservation he's surprised me with. Was it always this easy to spark joy in him, or has my absence from our marriage been that noticeable? Every romantic gesture is a punch to the gut. He deserves so much more than this half-present, lying version of his wife. Thomas, on the other hand, provides that intoxicating escape. We meet in out-of-the-way cafes, stealing hours from our real lives. I'm not the careful planner anymore. I lie about my schedule at work, taking long lunches, leaving early. The rush of getting away with it is tainted with recklessness. This isn't me, or is it? At work, everything blurs. Deadlines are barely met, my usually sharp focus fractured. Under the weather, I explain with a weak smile, but the truth is that the weather of my life is a chaotic storm, and I'm barely holding on. My best friend is lifeline and danger zone rolled into one. Over cocktails, she spills about her latest relationship drama. A part of me wants to scream, "You have no idea what real drama looks like." I come frighteningly close to confessing the whole mess, the words bubbling up to my lips. But fear strangles them down. She'd never look at me the same way again. Then, Ethan hits me with the weekend getaway suggestion. "Just us, to reconnect, clear our heads," he says, his eyes filled with a hope that makes my stomach clench. Panic flashes through me. I can't go. I can't be alone with him, with my guilt, not for that long. But how do I get out of this without raising suspicion? "Work thing," I manage to mumble, barely holding his gaze. "Can't be helped, sorry." The lie slips out easily now, and I hate myself for it. I hate myself for what I'm doing to him, to us, to the woman I used to be. But I'm caught, drowning in my own secrets, and with each gasp of air comes a fresh, terrible realization. As much as I hate the lies, I'm not quite ready to stop telling them. Every picturesque view through the car window is a mockery. This trip was meant for rekindling love, yet all I feel is the cold burn of dread. Ethan's attempts at cheerful conversation are unbearable. He doesn't deserve this. The lies, the half-attentive wife I've become. If only he knew the frantic voice inside me screaming, "Turn around. Go home. It may be too late, but try." My phone vibrates non-stop. It's Thomas, demanding a meet-up. His texts are a relentless stream of desperation, and I'm torn. A part of me wants to throw caution to the wind, wants the oblivion of his touch again. But that sick feeling in the pit of my stomach reminds me I'm standing on a precipice, crumbling beneath my feet. Dinner is pure torture. We're in one of those sickeningly romantic restaurants, all soft lighting and whispered sweet nothings. Ethan holds my hand, and his eyes have that hopeful glow again. "How about we start trying," he murmurs, "for a family?" It's like being doused with ice water. I open my mouth to object, but all that comes out is a sob. Tears stream down my face as I choke out a mumbled, "I don't know." Ethan looks stricken, the worry lines on his face deepening. He assumes it's stress, exhaustion, everything but the awful truth. And I let him. Later, that night in the too-soft bed, his touch isn't the same gentle comfort it used to be. There's desperation, a silent pleading, and my body responds on autopilot. Afterwards, I lie awake, disgust and self-loathing swirling inside me. What kind of twisted game am I playing? How much more of this can I take? The hike the next morning feels like a walk of shame. The fresh air and stunning vistas do nothing to lighten the load I'm carrying. Then, disaster strikes. My phone slips from my pocket, tumbling down the rocky slope. I scramble to retrieve it, feeling like I'm chasing my lies made physical. But I'm too late. Ethan has it. He stares at the screen, his brow furrowing as he reads a text from Thomas, our thinly veiled coded message laid bare. There's a terrible silence, and then his eyes meet mine. The hope, the love, the trust, they shatter in that single look. It's the worst kind of destruction, the kind you inflict upon yourself. The room spins. My legs feel like jelly. It's a miracle I'm still standing. Ethan's face is a mask of fury and disgust, his usually gentle voice now laced with a venom I've never heard before. The words wash over me like acid: betrayal, disgusting, selfish. Each one lands like a physical blow. My first instinct is defiance. It wasn't like that, I hear myself shout, but the lie sounds hollow even to my own ears. All the excuses pile up in my head, ready to be thrown at him. But as his face contorts with fresh pain, my defiance crumbles. "Please, Ethan, say something." My voice is barely a whisper, laced with desperation. But there's nothing left to say. The shattered look in his eyes is my sentence, and it's far worse than anything he could scream at me. Sobs rack my body, messy, undignified. I beg for forgiveness, though the words feel empty. I don't deserve it. How could I have hurt him like this? Him, the kindest, most loyal person I know. There are no explanations, no justifications. I'm a wreck, a pitiful heap of broken apologies. Suddenly, he's gone. The hotel room door slams shut, the silence deafening. I'm alone, utterly alone, in the aftermath of a devastation I brought upon myself. My shaking fingers reach for the phone. Thomas. He'll understand, he'll make this better. My texts are a desperate, garbled confession. His reply comes, swift and cold. "This is bad, Amelia. Gotta look out for myself. You should do the same." His casual betrayal cuts deeper than Ethan's anger. The night stretches into an eternity. Waves of nausea alternate with a strange, chilling numbness. My choices, my actions, are laid bare in the harsh hotel lighting. There's no more running, no more hiding. I've destroyed everything. Morning comes, bleak and unforgiving. I numbly gather my things, dreading going home to face the emptiness I've created. My phone buzzes. It's an unknown number. A photo. Me and Thomas, locked in a kiss. Then, a text. "You reap what you sow." A shiver runs through me. Is this from Ethan, a scorned friend of his? Suddenly, the consequences of my actions feel frighteningly real. I'm not just dealing with a broken marriage, I might have made a dangerous enemy. Fear coils in my gut, another layer of misery atop everything else. Volume_up. I clutch my phone like it's a venomous snake. That photo. The text. It feels like a noose tightening around my neck. Each time I close my eyes, I see it. Proof of my betrayal for anyone to find. Who sent it? And who else might have it? My thoughts spin in panic. This isn't just about Thomas, about Ethan, it's about my whole life imploding. My first instinct is to hide, disappear, change my number, become a shadow. But a flicker of defiance burns through me. I did this, I will fix this. Well, as much as I can, considering the damage might be irreparable. My best friend is the first to hear the full, ugly truth. My voice cracks as I spill every sordid detail, every lie, every cowardly choice. She listens, her silence heavy. When I finally choke out a strained, "I'm sorry," there's a long pause. "Amelia, how could you?" Her voice is sharp, laced with the sting of disappointment. I don't even know who you are anymore." The words hit hard, but they're deserved. She offers support, but it's tentative, our friendship tainted. Yet, I'm strangely grateful. She's not abandoning me, even though I might deserve it. Hands shaking, I dial Ethan's number. It rings, a relentless beat that hammers in my chest. Finally, voicemail. My apology spills out, choked, rambling, pathetic. I don't ask for forgiveness, because I don't deserve it. But I can't bear this silence, not knowing if he even heard my confession. The waiting is unbearable. Every creak in the house makes me jump. My phone is never out of sight, each ring making my heart pound in terror. Unknown numbers make me break out in a cold sweat. Is it the sender of the photo? Police? Someone spreading gossip? I need help, but where does one even turn after this? A therapist, I decide. The idea of spilling my secrets to a stranger is both terrifying and comforting. Simultaneously, I consult a divorce lawyer. Cold, practical discussions about assets and separation are an odd counterpoint to the emotional chaos swirling inside me. My days are consumed by this impossible task of entangling my life. Sorting out finances, changing passwords, updating contact information. Each step is a confrontation with the mess I've made. But it's something to hold onto, a small act of control amidst the swirling wreckage. Will it be enough to save anything? I don't know. All I have is the agonizing weight, the fear, and the desperate hope there's a way to rebuild from the ashes of what I destroyed. My heart performs a weird stutter step as I spotted a crumpled note on the kitchen counter, Ethan's familiar scrawl unmistakable. I haven't been back home for long, but the evidence of his presence is a punch to the gut. Did he come to get more of his things? A sliver of desperate hope flickers. Maybe this means he could possibly listen? My first therapy session feels like a forced confession in a somber, beige room. The questions echo in my head. Why did you act against your values? What needs weren't being met in your marriage? I barely manage to choke out the pathetic. I don't know, but the therapist's gentle probing starts to chip away at the wall of shame I built around myself. The once familiar spaces of my small town feel claustrophobic now. The grocery store clerk's overly cheerful greeting makes me want to crawl under a shelf. Whispers reach me as I pass women I once considered friends. There are the pitying glances, the awkward, "How are you doings?" laced with a curiosity I despise. Then, the package. It's small, the return address the coffee shop. My heart thuds. Could it be? I tear the tape open, my hands shaking. It's my cracked mug, every jagged edge meticulously glued back together. No note, no explanation, just this cryptic, symbolic gesture. The hope I dared to feel crumbles. Is this a cruel joke? A sign that somehow he knows I'm trying to fix this fractured mess? It drives me mad, this uncertainty, this constant reminder of all that's been shattered. The phone rings and I jump, a mix of fear and desperate hope. It's Thomas. I expect groveling, excuses, but there's a cold indifference in his voice. A final confirmation that our connection was never as meaningful as he'd made it seem. My response is glacial. Don't ever contact me again. The click as I hang up is oddly empowering. One toxic, self-serving relationship severed, but it still feels like the smallest of victories. Sleep is a stranger. I lie awake replaying my marriage like a faulty film. Where did the laughter go? The tenderness? Could I truly have been so blind to Ethan's growing unhappiness? The guilt twists like a knife, yet the brutal self-examination feels necessary. Another phone call startles me. My fingers hesitate before I snatch up the receiver. Amelia? Ethan's mother. The voice I usually associate with holiday dinners and easy laughter is now tight with worry and a strained formality. It's a painful, awkward conversation. She offers no platitudes about forgiveness, just a strained offer of support if I truly decide to work on fixing things. It's a tiny lifeline in a vast ocean of uncertainty. My knees feel wobbly as I walk into the cafe. Generic tables, the smell of too strong coffee. This neutral ground is the only place Ethan and I could agree on right now. Spotting him across the room, my heart sinks. His shoulders are hunched, the energy that always seemed to crackle around him now dimmed. This shell of the man I love is almost harder to bear than the anger I expected. We both start at the same time, then fall into an awkward silence. The words hang heavy between us. There are apologies, accusations, half-spoken questions steeped in mutual pain. My explanations sputter out, and even to my own ears, sound pathetic in the face of his stricken gaze. Then, he reveals the source of the photo. It was Sarah, a mutual friend. She meant well, he says, a misguided attempt to force me to confront my actions. Relief floods through me, followed by a fresh wave of shame. I've hurt so many more people than just Ethan. We leave the cafe with no resolution. No heartwarming forgiveness scene, no brutal final break. Just a tentative promise to talk again. It's a pathetically small victory, but I cling to it. Days blur into a strange state of existence. I force myself out of the house, driven by equal parts guilt and a restlessness I can't ignore. Volunteer work at the animal shelter becomes an unlikely lifeline. Cleaning kennels and feeding stray cats feels oddly grounding, a way of giving back after the endless cycle of taking I've been trapped in. My phone buzzes. Thomas's number flashes across the screen. My first instinct is to ignore it, but something makes me answer. I'm sorry for everything. His voice sounds different. Less bravado, more genuine. It's too little, too late, but even this empty apology offers a kind of closure. I delete his number without replying. Practical tasks become my armor. Changed locks, new bank accounts, endless phone calls informing people I don't want to speak to about what happened. It's a cold, miserable form of rebuilding, but one I desperately cling to. Yet, there are odd moments of light cutting through the fog. Sharing a genuine laugh with my best friend feels like a miracle, brief as it might be. On a morning run, my legs pump in rhythm with my heartbeat, and I feel a flicker of strength, a reminder that I'm not entirely broken. The joy is tinged with sorrow, tainted by what I've done, but it's there. A tiny sign that life might, somehow, go on. Are you even trying? There's no yelling in Ethan's voice, yet his words cut deeper. We're in another sterile therapist's office, weeks after that first disastrous cafe meeting. The anger between us has cooled, leaving a terrible, empty sadness in its wake. It hurts more than the shouting ever did. Am I trying? Images flash through my mind. The notebooks filled with scribbled self-analysis, the sleepless nights, the tears. I'm trying to fix this, trying to fix myself, but it all feels futile. The shattered pieces just don't fit together anymore. Couples counseling becomes our new form of purgatory. Forced conversations, probing questions, the therapist urging us to find connection in the wreckage. At times, there's a flicker of the easy banter we once shared, but it quickly gutters out, leaving behind a smothering sense of futility. Writing becomes my solace, not the flowery journals of my youth, but raw, unfiltered confessions poured onto the page. I explore every selfish impulse, every lie, a brutal catalog of my failures. There's a catharsis in the act, but even the written words can't bring absolution. That damned box arrives, a final gut punch. Clothes still smelling faintly of his cologne, my favorite photo of us from a happier time, and a cracked mug, the pieces now reglued with even greater care. It's a gesture that cuts through the numbness, and I weep. For the loss, for the uncertainty, for the cruel glimmer of hope it sparks. The work event is torture. I force on a smile and a dress that now hangs off me slightly. Whispers follow me, and the pitying glances are unbearable. But there's a defiant voice inside me too. This is my life, damaged but still mine, and I won't let it shrink into a shadow. The days tick by, but the crucial decision looms. Do we fight for something new, built on the ruins of trust? Or do we walk separate paths, forever altered by the choices I made? My therapist urges patience. Ethan remains frustratingly non-committal, and all I feel is adrift. It's during a sleepless night, staring at the ceiling, that a hard truth hits me. I'm no longer just fighting to fix my marriage, but fighting to rebuild myself, to become someone worthy of the love I nearly destroyed. The question isn't just about Ethan and me anymore, but about the kind of woman I will choose to be going forward. It's terrifying and empowering, all at once. I stand at a crossroads, but for the first time in a long, long while, I feel a glimmer of agency, a sense that the choices I make from this point on are truly mine